The Carolina Panthers have found themselves in nearly every bad situation imaginable since their Super Bowl 50 appearance. Injuries forced their franchise quarterback to decline rapidly, while the Rivera era finally came to an end, and their defensive leader was forced into retirement early. Since then, Christian McCaffrey has failed to stay healthy, and they have struggled to find a starting caliber quarterback. Attempting to resurrect a regressing Cam Newton was the closest the Panthers have come to a decent option at the position since they cut the former MVP. Since Matt Rule took over, the team has been completely mediocre. Despite consecutive 500 records through the first 6 weeks of the season, finishing as the bottom feeder of a fairly weak division will not be acceptable this season. Matt Rule has everything to lose. In a last chance situation for the third-year head coach, he's putting his trust into former New York Giants head coach Ben McAdoo to run the offense. McAdoo is perhaps the most interesting coach in recent NFL history. And here's why. In year one with the Giants, McAdoo managed to lead the team to an 11-5 record and a playoff appearance. The future looked quite bright going into the 2017 season. The team had Odell Beckham Jr. coming off 3 consecutive historic seasons to begin his career, and Eli Manning showed that there was still some gas in the tank. All this led to a ton of pressure on the second-year head coach. The roster was quickly depleted due to injuries and suspensions, and the New York Giants got off to a miserable start in 2017. An 0-5 record to begin the year led to a ton of backlash against McAdoo, as well as his decision-making. The nail in the coffin for Giants fans is when he was responsible for ending Eli Manning's 210-game starting streak, sitting the veteran in favor of Geno Smith. That would end up being the final game of McAdoo's tenure after 4 seasons total with the New York Giants. Going a miserable 2-10 in the 2017 season, and he was out of a job in the NFL until 2020, when he found himself back into football and back into the biggest stage as he was the quarterback's coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That would last just a season as he then joined the Cowboys staff in 2021. His next chapter will be to attempt to save the Carolina Panthers offense, and the Cats just acquired the guy to help turn the ship around. Adding Baker Mayfield is definitely an interesting move. Many people are already sold on the fact he's not starting caliber or that he's a bust. I still, however, have a little bit of hope left in Baker. Despite coming off a really bad season, you have to remember that he is just 1 year removed from throwing 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I understand the maturity discussion, but Carolina isn't looking for a leader. They are looking for somebody who can even just be consistently mediocre. At 27 years old, the former number 1 pick should be way ahead in his development. However, he's not a fully lost cause, and he is definitely an upgrade over Sam Darnold. When healthy, the Panthers' offense is full of potential. The question is, how easily can that be maximized? We all know the Matt Rule scheme. We know that the defense can dominate. It's all up to Ben McAdoo and that offense to see if Carolina can contend for a wildcard spot or even a top 3 spot in the division. I personally don't think that they can. Not to be too harsh on McAdoo, as he did fairly well in the offensive coordinator role with the Giants, but it feels like an underachieving hire. I feel like he's just gonna go fill the role for either just this season or until Rule is gone if they struggle, which will be mid-season. The Panthers have been in a cycle of mid for years, and it's going to take something better than a Baker Mayfield-Ben McAdoo duo to get the offense to break out of it. Mayfield has had his fair share of mediocre play calling, having to play under the infamous Freddie Kitchens, so McAdoo could do well. In 2 seasons as the Giants OC, McAdoo had a young Odell Beckham Jr. and a solid running game. The Panthers now have DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and a solid running game, when healthy, and depth at both those positions. it puts Baker in a decent spot to succeed. Mayfield has been called out by ex-teammates for being immature. The best way to avoid this controversy in Carolina is to allow him to play a sheltered role away from too much leadership responsibility. You have CMC and Moore who have that offense under control leadership-wise. Baker Mayfield just needs to have the strings pulled for him by McAdoo and just play a basic role. No pressure on the quarterback would be the best situation and position for both Baker and McAdoo. However, I'm not sure that Ben McAdoo would be the right guy to pull the strings for Baker. They both need to build their individual confidence and be eased into their new roles. Meanwhile, Matt Rule needs his team to be competitive from the start. I want to see the Panthers do well. I wish them the best, but my job here is to break down the possibilities and the ceiling for this team. McAdoo and Mayfield will either work super well together or simply fail and struggle to tread water for most of the season. No in between, and I'm trusting my gut and saying it will be the latter option. It's going to be an interesting division with the NFC South. You have Brady coming back, you have the Saints going all out in free agency and adding some big guns such as Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry, but I still feel like the Carolina Panthers have a door open in this division, especially with how weak that the NFC is. To me, you have 5 confirmed playoff teams in the NFC: the Bucs, the Packers, the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Cowboys. After that, I think almost anyone can make it, and there is a strong chance that we see 3 teams from the same division make it, and the Saints definitely have the potential to do so if they stay healthy. I don't think that the sky is the limit for Carolina. I don't think that they're going to blow anyone away by any means this season, but they need to make more improvements, because having 2 seasons that ended the exact same way and with the exact same record is not going to do well for Matt Rule, and it's not going to allow him to keep his job in Carolina. And that's simply the truth. And I think that if Carolina can at least point themselves in the right direction this year, McAdoo and Rule will return to the team next season. Unless, of course, there's better options available, and if they're interested in coming to Charlotte. The Baker Mayfield versus Sam Darnold quarterback controversy is going to be hilarious to watch. I think it will be Baker for sure, but who knows? You also have Matt Corral and PJ Walker under contract for that team, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for the Panthers. Let me know what you guys think, but I'm saying that they finish with 3 wins on the season, one of which coming in week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think the Panthers are going to do in this upcoming season and what your expectation for the team in the future is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all next time. Goodbye.